where did the names of the months come from? They come, like so many things, from the Romans. Before the Norman conquest of England in 1066, the Anglo-Saxons had their own names for the months. But the Latin names became more and more used throughout Europe during the High Middle Ages. Eventually they supplanted the native names in places like France, Germany, and England. Okay, so we have to go back to Rome. The original Roman calendar had only 10 months, consisting of 304 days. The 2 missing months were in winter, which was a monthless part of the year. And so the original calendar started in March, and that's where we'll start. This will be helpful as we go along, trust me. So, March, or Martius in the original Latin, was named for Mars, the Roman god of war. Mars was equivalent to Ares in Greece. If you know about Greek paganism, he wasn't very respected in Greece, seen as a god of bloodshed and violence. In Rome, though, he was much more revered, seen as one of the most important of the 12 Olympians. The Romans associated Mars with strategy and intelligence rather than bloodshed, and was believed to have been the father of Romulus and Remus, the legendary founders of the city of Rome. April, or Aprilis, is our first month with uncertain etymology. It could be named for Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. The Romans called her Venus, which seems to cast some doubt on this explanation. But she was called Apru by the Etruscans, so maybe that explains it. The other explanation is that April is connected with the Latin verb aperire, which means to open. This could refer to the opening or beginning of spring, or to the opening or blooming of flowers. Quick side note, the Anglo-Saxon name for this month was Eastermanath, named for the goddess Oester. She was a fertility goddess in the Germanic pantheon of gods. This is where we get our word for the Christian holiday Easter. The month of May also has an uncertain etymology, but it's mostly agreed that it was named for the goddess Maya. Maya was a minor goddess in Roman paganism, but she was the mother of a very important god, Mercury. Mercury was the herald of the gods and the deity associated with travelers, merchants, messengers, and thieves. He was also associated with May, so that lends credence to this theory. There is another explanation though, this one given to us by Ovid, one of the most celebrated Roman poets. He thought that the month was named for the Maiores, which in Latin meant elders. So May was for the elder citizens of Rome, while June was for the youth, or in Latin, juniores. Speaking of, let's move on to June. As I said, Ovid thought the month was named for the young people of Rome, but most scholars disagree. Instead, it's believed that June was named for Juno, the goddess of motherhood and child-rearing. She was the queen of the Olympians and wife to Jupiter. This, to me, seems a more likely explanation than Ovid's theory. Now moving on to July and August. These 2 months were renamed at the start of the imperial period of Roman history to honor and deify 2 Roman emperors, Julius Caesar and Caesar Augustus. And yes, I know Julius Caesar wasn't technically emperor, he held the title dictator, but same difference. So July, named for Julius, used to be named Quintilis, which meant 5th month. Remember, we're counting from March as month 1. And August was named for Augustus, the first true emperor of Rome. It had the name Sextilis, meaning 6th month. Thank goodness it was renamed, or we would have another Uranus on our hands. There's a common myth about August that you may have heard. The story goes like this. Augustus wanted to be seen as equal or greater to his uncle, Julius Caesar, so he made it so that his month had 31 days, the same as July. He did this by taking a day from February and giving it to August, and thus messing up the nice alternating system of 30 and 31-dayed months. This myth is not true, or at least there's no evidence to support it. August did at one point have only 30 days, but the number of days in each month changed a number of times throughout Roman history, and it seems like Sextilis already had 31 days by the time it was renamed. So no, you can't blame Augustus for making you forget how many days are in each month. The next 4 months are unremarkable. They're named for numbers: September meaning 7th month, October meaning 8th, November 9th, and December the 10th and last month of the original system. The last 2 months were added in the 8th century BC by Numa Pompilius, the second king of Rome. January was named for the many-headed god Janus. He was the god of transitions and doorways, which is fitting for the new first month of the year. Interestingly, he was a specifically Italian god, having no Greek equivalent. And finally, we have February. It is the only month not named for a god or number, at least if you discount Ovid's theories about May and June. February was named for a festival that occurred in its days, called Februa. It was a Roman purification festival held in and around the Lupercal cave, where it was believed Romulus and Remus were nursed to health by a she-wolf. The festival was also called Lupercalia for this reason.